Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dio, Lauren Frey, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, following the acquisition of Eidos Montreal, Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal, all anyone seems to be talking about is who's next? Who is going to be acquired next? And who is going to be doing the acquiring? This has been a thing ever since Microsoft started buying up all of their companies. It's been like a trend where it feels like we are at the point where the industry is collapsing. And as a result of that, a lot of companies are getting acquired, a lot of IPs are getting acquired in an attempt to try and and salvage gaming from the mess it's become. And and the thing that really bothers me about a lot of these discussions is how increasingly desperate the Sony audience is becoming when it comes to pretending that Sony has any relevancy at all when it comes to this specific topic. Like, I see a lot of people speculating that Sony's going to acquire Capcom. They're going to acquire Konami. They're going to acquire Square Enix. They're going to acquire anyone. And really all they've done so far is acquire Bungie, a move so brain dead retarded that only one person I've ever seen in my life has ever tried to defend it. His argument being that like they're acquiring Bungie for the network for their ability to produce like games as a service, like online shit, which is incredibly stupid and will never take off. Basically, what we've seen in 2022 is that Sony is basically irrelevant. There are no IPs to buy. There are no studios willing to sell to Sony, and they can't produce their own things. They sabotage their own development studios. They moved from glorious Japan to backwater America in order to I don't know, try to appeal to the American demographic. Like there, it really does feel as if most people are just delusionally trying to pretend the Sony is more relevant than it actually is. It is remarkable to see the links people will go to pretend that like PlayStation 5 is successful or that it will someday be successful when like when the recession ends and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. I think it's safe to say that like Sony is never going to be as relevant as they were back in the 90s, early 2000s. Like the PS4 isn't going to be as remembered as fondly as the PS2, and the PS5 just isn't good enough to compete with other superior gaming platforms. It can't compete with PC, and it can't compete with Nintendo hardware. Nothing can compete with Nintendo hardware. And right now, it feels like people are desperately trying to manufacture situations in which PlayStation could suddenly become like super relevant, could suddenly become successful. And the acquisition thing is an example of that. Like, oh man, they're gonna acquire Nintendo. They're going to acquire Steam. They're gonna do this or that. Sony always wins, baby. It is downright pathetic.